When we look at wildly successful people, it's easy to be dismissive and make assumptions or projections like they must have had it pretty easy, or they must have had a backer, or they must have been married to a spouse who funded them, and the list goes on and on. One thing I've learned in my 13 years helping entrepreneurs around the world achieve, succeed, and prosper is that behind the reality of great successes are humbling moments of great despair. It's the journey from despair to destiny that really helps shape an entrepreneur. Entrepreneurs who experience disappointment and disillusionment but never learn from them continue to struggle and often never live their dream. Entrepreneurs who accept, feel, and learn the realities of those tough moments, mourn their losses, seek meaning within them, and then build greatness using them are the ones who ultimately climb to the highest of heights. 2 years into my launch of eWomen Network, I was on the brink of bankruptcy. Coming off a really successful corporate career, the dire situation really rattled me. I'd never worked as hard in my life for the least amount of money I had ever made. It really shook me to my core and started playing with my mind and undermining my confidence. Raising 2 children under the age of 8, operating on 4 hours of sleep a night, and taking on every job by myself, I wondered, can I really do this? In addition to being on the brink of bankruptcy, I was on the brink of quitting. One day, my mother called to chat and ask me how things were going. I remember standing at the door, looking outside and thinking, this day is so bright and so beautiful, with such a gorgeous blue sky, yet inside, I feel like I'm in the deepest storm ever. I said to Mom, I can't do this. I've got to find a job. I'll do eWomen Network on the side. Wait a minute, she said. You're already working 20 hours a day. How are you going to get a job and expect this to work? Clouded by the fog of it all, I couldn't see her point of view. Well, I really don't know, but I do know one thing. I can't pay my bills and I've got to quit. I knew that, like so many times before, my mother's wisdom surfaced again and she asked me one poignant question. How do you know you're not quitting 5 minutes before the miracle begins? I was quiet for a moment and then said, well, I don't. It really was then that my mother gave me the strength and power of outside forces. She said, well, honey, then you really can't quit. I'm not saying don't quit, but if you do quit, you have to know. You have to know that this is what you really want and what you really have to do. And you're not there yet. If you quit now, I promise you one thing. You'll spend the rest of your life wondering what might have been. Her response really touched me, and I knew in my heart she was right, but the doubts lingered. Then what do I do? She said to me, I don't know, but I know one thing. I raised a daughter smart enough to figure it out. I was drowning, and with that simple statement, my mother reached in, pulled me out, and saved me. She gave me the confidence to take that one next step. In that moment, I realized I didn't have to figure everything out right then. I just had to acknowledge that I didn't know and then ask for help. After all, what was the worst thing that could happen? You too may be feeling like you're drowning, wondering if you'll ever be able to make this dream of yours happen. You too may be tired, overworked, struggling to get by. You may be ready to quit. I may not know how you will pull it off, but I do know 2 things for sure. You're smart enough to figure it out, and you are not alone. My vision for this book is rooted in a key principle of eWomen Network. Lift as you climb. I believe if you really want to get somewhere in life, you have to be both a go-getter and a go-giver. A one-sided coin isn't worth anything, be it a silver dollar or a penny. The value is printed on both sides. Living a life of significance and self-actualization is about paying attention to both sides, being a go-getter and a go-giver. As my wise mother used to say, you've never really given in life until you've helped someone who can truly never pay you back. With that in mind, I asked my girlfriends, best-selling authors, world-class speakers and thought leaders, Lisa Nichols, Marsha Weeder, and Lisa Sasevich, and 35 other inspiring entrepreneurs to help me provide insights and inspirations for you and other visionaries on their way up. The co-authors in this book are people like you who had an idea, a dream, a goal, and when faced with challenges, they turned barriers into benchmarks, obstacles into opportunities, and setbacks into stepping stones, and succeeded in spite of everything. Together, it is our hope that succeeding in spite of everything is not only that ultimate healing medicine that gives you strength when you're feeling fatigued, a Band-Aid when you're feeling broken, or sunlight when you're in darkness, but also that this is that book of wisdom that you turn to on good days for further inspiration and ideas and insights. And when you're in the catbird seat, I want you to remember where you came from. I want you to show up and assist someone who needs guidance and support. Help someone else feel less alone. I want you to lift as you climb. Never forget that you are but one resource away from the miracle beginning, and your own story has yet to be written.